I've actually spent a lot of time researching the history of medical ethics and the emergence of bioethics. The thesis of that book was that medical ethics, or what we now talk about as bioethics, has its rich periods of growth when physicians and scientists are in dialogue with humanists, philosophers, theologians, social scientists. The book, in fact, is titled Disrupted Dialogue. The thesis was in the 1770s, particularly in Scotland, there was this huge breakthrough in medical ethics because the professor of medicine at the University of Edinburgh was very serious about ethics and actually incorporated some lectures on ethics into his courses that later became the book that became the basis for medical ethics in the modern English-speaking world. Soon after that, by the next generation, medicine was becoming specialized from the Enlightenment period, and science the questions in science became so unique and specialized that a person could easily spend his entire lifetime on one very narrow question. One of the professors at the University of Edinburgh works on the structure of the eye, for example. So the interest in ethics among physicians, in my view, deteriorated and didn't emerge again until the middle of the 20th century. Now, there was some preliminary events around the middle of the century, like the Nuremberg trials and our experience with Nazi research, the writing of the Declaration of Geneva and so forth, that are precursors to the emergence of medical ethics. But in my view, it was the 1960s that really triggered the rich development and the renewal of the conversation between humanists on the one side, physicians and scientists on the other side. My claim is that this was directly the result of the wonderful radical social movements of the 1960s. In the United States, that meant the anti-war movement and the civil rights movement, but there was a rich women's movement at the time that all of these had the structure of being concerned about human rights, and particularly the rights of lower status individuals, whether it be blacks in the civil rights movement, ordinary people in the anti-war movement, the Vietnam War movement, women who were of lower social status. All of these, there was also a students' rights movement at the time. All of them had this model of a relationship between a high-powered elite, generals in the army, for example, and lower status individuals. And my real interest was in the rights of lower status individuals. And I took all of those interests in the anti-war movement, civil rights movement, and transferred them rather directly into the field of medicine, which, if you follow through the analogy, leads to a patients' rights movement, the corollary of which was the identification of the role of the elites, the experts, if you like, and what they are experts on. And the claim in the anti-war movement the slogan was, "War's too important to be left to the generals." Or to put it in slightly more concrete terms, being an expert on carrying out a war doesn't mean you're an expert on the ethics of war. That led to my doctoral dissertation focusing on the relation between expertise on facts on the one hand and expertise on values on the other hand. And in medicine, from my perspective at least, that's the critical issue. In research medicine, for instance, researchers are surely experts on the science of medicine, how to design a research question, statistical tests, that sort of thing. But I would claim that they are in no way special experts on questions like the rights of a subject in a research project. Or in clinical medicine, the clinician is in no way an expert on the rights of a patient.